Jacobs, welcome to Australian Musician.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Greg.
Just before we talk about your current band, Jacobs Run, just tell me a little bit about what you did previous to that, some of the bands you're in.
Well, the three of us have been in and out of bands together and separately, but one of the bands we were in just prior to Jacobs Run was a band called Passion Box. It was a six-piece band, and unfortunately the singer couldn't continue, and we found ourselves in a rehearsal studio, just the three of us looking at each other and figuring out what we wanted to do next, and here we are today.
Yeah. Clearly you're not teenagers, so it's unusual for a band, a guy of your vintage, your youth, to form a band. What was the goal when you put the band together?
There was no predetermined goal. It's just the three of us love playing music, and we were rehearsing just across the way here at Wick Studios, and we were just playing a few of the songs that I'd written, and it caught the ear of the guys here at Wick Studios, Glenn and Dan, and they said we should be recording these songs. They're quite good. So really, we came in here and we were here at Wick recording the songs, and we were putting down tracks, and I kept writing songs, and they kept saying, no, we should record that one as well. And the songs just started to take on a life of their own. It was a very organic project. There was nothing predetermined. And, you know, about 6 or 7 songs in, we were listening back. And Glenn, our producer, suggested we put strings and orchestration on some of the songs. And it just grew and grew and grew until about, as I said, 6 or 7 songs in, we thought, well, this is serious. We should become a real band, and Jacobs Run was born.
When you were writing these songs, did you imagine that orchestrations at any point? Was that a consideration when you were writing?
I think it always is for me. I am a big fan of non-English speaking European music, the Italian music, and the three of us do have Italian heritage, so we grew up listening to all of that type of music, and it's very heavy on orchestration, very lush production, and I've always loved it. So I guess the influences have come out and the songs lend themselves to that orchestration. So whilst I hadn't thought of it at the time I was actually writing the song, it all made sense when it was starting to come together.
Take your time, 'cause I'm not going anywhere for a little while. Just let me sit here and stare. She's everything I need.
There are 12 main tracks on the album and a bonus track, so 13 altogether. Did you have many tracks other than that to play with?
No, it wasn't like we had a suite of songs to choose from, because as I said, it was a very organic growth. I was writing other songs as we were recording them, and then when we got to 12, we decided that there had to be a line in the sand, we had to stop, and I still kept writing, so there's still another album's worth of songs, which hopefully we'll get out one day.
So writing songs that way, while you're in the studio, is it difficult, or do you feel pressured coming up with lyrics?
Yeah, lyrics is difficult for me. I guess most of my songwriting I do at home. And then, you know, the hooks and the melodies come a little bit easier for me than the lyrics. I'll have a lyrical theme, but then putting the meat on the bone is quite difficult. I pore over the lyrics to the point that I think one of our songs, So Beautiful, just before I was doing the vocals, I was still editing some of the lyrics, so yeah, it's one of those things.
Is there a song that's closer to your heart or that you're more proud of than others on the album?
They all have something special for me. I think Better Days is quite special because it was the first one that we sort of put down, I guess, and it's the co-write on the record. I was talking earlier on about Passion Box and the band that we morphed out of. That's a co-write with the singer from that band, and I'd always loved the song. So that was, I suppose, the start of it all. I think So Beautiful is a pretty personal song, and I love the arrangement on that song. If you listen to the lyrics, it's a very tense song, a lot of angst in the lyric, and I think the arrangement and the orchestration really sort of lends itself to that. So that's quite a good song. I like that one.
Because there's so much in the album, when you're playing these songs live, do you have to change your stage setup much to be able to play these songs?
Yes, look, there's a lot of on the record, and so we, when we play, we have Phil Turcho on keyboards come out with us, and also a fellow called Emilio Kormanich who plays guitar for us as well. So live we're a 5-piece.
Yeah. Is there any need for any triggering, or is it all played?
No, it's all played.
Playing live, do you hope to go out on tour?
We've got a show at the Firefly on the 1st of November, which we'll be playing, and then hopefully we'll go out and play a few shows across the country.
Yeah, you've certainly gone whole hog with the production, with the quality of the CD jacket. You know, your videos and the website are top quality. Obviously, you wanted to give the album the best possible chance you could.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a perfectionist?
Yes. Much to the angst of the other members of the band and everybody around us, I do pore over things and make sure that everything's just right. But I think everybody that contributed to the record, it was a labour of love. I mean, from Glenn, our producer, to Dan, our engineer, Michael Letho mixing, to Nigel McLean, who did the orchestration, and Elvis, who did the percussion, right through, and Susie Ahern, who did backing vocals. You know, everybody that was involved with the album, just I don't know what it was. Everybody just loved to participate and be part of it, and I think that flows through right to to the social media, to the product or the brand that we want to put out there. You know, in our mind, we'd like everything to be premium. So, yeah, we spend a lot of time on that.
We're surrounded by guitars here, and we'll have a look at some of them
Yes.
in a minute.
True.
But just in regard to recording them, did you use many guitars on the album? So it sounds like you layered various guitars on various tracks. Is that the way it happened?
Yeah. So again, wasn't predetermined. Once we got in here, we started to lay down the guitar tracks as per the structure of the song. And the first thing we did was lay the acoustics. So you'll hear a lot of acoustics through the back of the record, and so yeah, we had a lot to choose from, and we did use a lot of these guitars, which was great. A lot of amps. We had a lot of time in the studio, and got some great guitar tones. Very proud of it.
Yeah.
So this is my go-to guitar. It's a 376 Rickenbacker. It's a 3 pickup model, and it's discontinued. They don't make these anymore. I love it. So I play this live most of the time, but also in the studio, it sort of gave me all the jangly bits, as a Rickenbacker does. Those hooks in Better Days and Follow You Anywhere. So that's my go-to guitar. So this is again one I play live. It's a 330-12 Rickenbacker. I bought this on eBay. I wanted this particular colour. It's the Amber Glow, and I think it's 90s. It was the colour of the year in the 90s. So it's the only guitar I've bought actually second hand, because I figure if I want scratches on it, I want them to be my scratches, you know, nobody else's. So this is one I play live as well. So I'm a big fan of 12 strings, influenced heavily by The Church, and in particular Marty Wilson Piper, and I write 95% of the songs on 12-string acoustic. And so I guess that's why the album's full of acoustic 12 strings, because that's on the instrument they were written. This one is actually an 80s Ibanez Champion, and the neck's very fragile, so I've had to string them with very light gauge strings, so it's got a very ethereal sound. And I doubled that in the studio with a Martin 12, and which has got a very much more bottom end sound. So when we were tracking the acoustics and putting the beds down, we tracked this first. The guys said, look, be a great idea to track, the Ibanez as well, blended them together. And I guess that formed a real basis of the sonic of the record. You'll hear a lot of those acoustics in behind the heavy electrics, and with the orchestration, that sort of set the tone for the record. So yeah, love the 12-string acoustics. Yeah, so this guitar I actually play live because it's an acoustic, it's an electric guitar that sounds very, very acoustic. It's got a piezo pickup, and it's called a Universum, and they're a Ukrainian guitar that I picked up when we were in the US earlier last year. And I ran into it in a shop in LA, and I said, what is that? And I just loved it. I can actually play Better Days, for example, live. It gives it a real authentic acoustic sound. So love this guitar live. Wasn't on the record because I didn't own it at the time, but I do play it live. So this is Les Paul 58 Reissue. Always wanted a Les Paul. And I had the opportunity to buy this a few years ago. I used this on Hold On a Minute to get that big fat guitar sound. I can't remember what amps we used. Thanks to the boys at Wick Studios, I had a lot of choice with amps and cabs. But yeah, this is good, and I play this live. So this is my oldest guitar. I guess it's a 1985 Japanese Fender Strat, and it's just got a beautiful tone. I played this on some of the lead breaks on the record. Bleed, for example, I remember playing this guitar on. Has a beautiful warm sound, a lot of sustain. Unfortunately, I'm missing the whammy. I'll find that somewhere. But yeah, it's a great guitar, and I love it.
I'd build a wall around you if I could, and hide you there forever if I knew it would. Save you from it all, so I think I should.
You've received some airplay in the States for some of your songs, and you went over there a couple of times to capitalise on that. Tell me about those trips, which cities and what kind of venues did you play?
Early 2018, we went across and played some acoustic showcases to industry people. So it wasn't a tour as such, but we were fortunate enough to go into the media bases and the iHearts of the world, and we played to a lot of industry people, and just to say thank you for their support, and introduce ourselves, and basically set us up for the tour that we did earlier this year, which was based around the Texas area where we're getting a fair bit of support. And that was a full band promo tour, so we played San Angelo, San Antonio, and Houston. So it was a lot of fun. It was great.
We're almost at the end of the year. What are your plans for 2020?
Hopefully continue to do shows here in Australia. We are penciling in March to go back to the US for an acoustic tour, so really looking forward to that.
And what are your hopes and dreams for the album and the band in general?
I don't know. I just want people to enjoy it, and if we can tour off the back of it, and we have some fun doing it, that'd be fantastic. But look, I think every songwriter likes to have their songs not appreciated, but to mean something to the population. So if people enjoy that music, then that's fantastic, and we'd love to play shows. We love playing live and getting out amongst it. So yeah, that's what we'd like to do. And of course, we've got another album full of songs. So at some stage we'll get to record those, because I love it in here. I love it in the studio. I could spend hours in here, hours and hours.
Michael JACOBS, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Greg, and thanks to Australian Musician Magazine.